after the 7 aliyot, the 7 different people who read the parsha each Shabbat, there is an extra aliyah which we call maftir. When we finish reading the entire parasha, the shaliach tzibur, the Baal Koreh, or somebody taking his place, says Chatzi Kaddish. Chatzi Kaddish means a break. We finish something and we're starting something. What we finished was the reading of the Torah for that Shabbat. And we divided the reading of the Torah for that Shabbat into 7 different portions. After we have done that, the Shaliach Tzibur says Chatzi Kaddish because we're going to do something else, something different, a different order of obligation, and that is reading the Haftara. A portion, a smaller portion from the prophets that attaches itself somehow to the parasha and was considered by Chazal to be important enough to involve us in that Talmud Torah. We learned the Torah of Nevi'im just as we learned the Torah on Shabbat morning. It's important, of course, to remember that the reading of the Torah is of far greater significance to us than the reading of the prophets. Even though the prophets are prophets, but they are certainly not Torah. So someone is given the honor to read the Haftarah. And for some reason, Chachamim thought that it would be reasonable to allow that person also to read a few psukim of the Torah portion, so that the maftir, who is really called up to read the Haftarah, also gets to read several psukim at the end of the parasha. So again, we finish reading the parasha, 7 aliyot, minimum. There can be more, but 7 aliyot minimum. We say Chatzi Kaddish, which indicates that we're finished with Kriyat Torah and the obligation that comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. However, the Chachamim wanted us to add on another Torah learning obligation from the Nevi'im, from the books of the prophets, And therefore, someone will be called up to do that, to read what we call the Haftarah from the book of the prophets. That person will also be given the honor of reading several psukim in the parasha, even though we've already read them, and we have actually fulfilled our obligation. And yet, in order to make sure that people don't think that the reading of the Haftarah, the prophets, the chapter of the prophets, is of lesser worth value, we allow the person who is reading the Haftarah to also read the last few psukim of the Torah reading after the Chatzi Kaddish, and then before he actually begins to read the chapter of the prophets.